Okay, Amanda, how you doing? I've got your work up right here. And let's go ahead and take a look. So we're concentrating right on emphasis and contrast. So we're going to take a look here, and you've got some other elements and principles of design here at play. And I think that you're off to a really great start. I'm going to concentrate these comments on emphasis and contrast. And we'll take a look at each composition individually. So I think the first composition is the most successful of the three. And the reason is because you are using emphasis. I should say you are using contrast here to create the greatest amount of emphasis. And emphasis is what creates what hierarchy. So to establish visual flow, we have to establish hierarchy. To establish hierarchy, we need to incorporate emphasis and also grouping, as well, as you have learned from our reading in weeks 1 and 2. So the red rooster, let's go ahead through this. I don't recommend stroking letter forms. It's something that professional graphic designers don't typically do. We see a stroke on this Ice Cream and More, on Frosties, and on the red rooster. And the reason we don't stroke letter forms is because it actually changes the shapes of those letters. As we can see right here, these are called counters. It's those little areas in that S or in that E. See that little closed area in the E on the top of the E? That's called a closed counter. And you can see how stroking that reduces the size of that opening in the E. And also over here on the other E, on the bottom of the E, you can see right here where that is closing down. So we can see that here too. So the general rule of thumb is that we don't stroke letter forms in professional graphic design. And the reason is because it actually changes the shapes of the letters and the relationships of the letters that are appearing next to individual letters, and also affects the counter space or the negative space associated with those letters as well. So that is not recommended. This has a really, really good emphasis here. There's no question that this is where the emphasis lies, the red rooster. That's fantastic. Bar and grill is placed close to red rooster in terms of proximity, and that's also presented in an italic with a different typeface, different weight, so that creates additional emphasis, creating more hierarchy placed on a red rooster than bar and grill. That's fantastic. Over here we have additional emphasis we have created by these different contrasts, and this is excellent. You've got this oblique or italic type presented in a different color. This type is also smaller. Although it is italic, there's enough difference here to let the viewer know that there's a difference in this information and this information. So this card is done beautifully. These two, I think, could improve. We could improve the contrast, thereby improving emphasis, thereby improving hierarchy. So what I would recommend here is this. Ice Cream and More is pretty far from Frosties. Since these are closely related, they should be closer together in proximity. Then over here we have Located on Sunday Road. Okay, and then you have a period, and then in the exact same typeface, the exact same style, the exact same weight, you have Contact Amanda Nows. So located on, so when the viewer looks at this, it appears as though the second line is a continuation. And these are not a continued thought. They're two different thoughts. One is Located on Sunday Street, and the other is Contact Amanda Nows. So these should apply some differentiation in that style in order to create some contrasts, in order to create emphasis, right? And the same thing here. Right here, these type treatments are identical right here. So there's no contrast between this type and this type here. What we want to do here is create some sort of a contrast between Located on East River Road, Contact, and Amanda Nows. And please forgive me if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly. So this has really, really nice, I think the header areas, this is fantastic. This has wonderful contrast, creating emphasis on trouts. And this is done excellent. This, I think we could add a little bit more contrast in this area, differentiating these two areas of type and delineating or allowing the viewer to know that those are something that's different. They're not identical. They're two different sets of information, therefore should be treated as such. So my general recommendation is to improve your contrasts on the contact information of Frosties and Trouts. Okay, other than that, great job, good setup. I think you're showing excellent proficiency, so fantastic job there. Okay, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.